Hello and welcome along to another edition of Diecast Restos. I'm Jason and this is a Lesney Matchbox No. 34A Volkswagen, more specifically a Type 2 T1 split screen van and occasionally labelled on boxes as a Microvan. These were produced between 1957 and 1962. They were always painted in a mid-shade of blue, looking like this when factory fresh. One dedicated T1 owner turned theirs into this full-sized replica. I restored this model's successor, the 34B Volkswagen Rivet, in January 2021. As that was a combi passenger version of the T1, I covered the history of the Type 2 in that video, so do check that out if you are interested. The construction of this casting is very simple, consisting of a body, 4 wheels, 2 axles and a base. The base secures to the body via a tongue and slot fitment at the front and a split rivet at the back. As such, this casting represents a great opportunity to those watching who want to get into diecast restoration and customising. I wanted to take a little time today to encourage those of you who might take an interest in doing your own customs or restos to absolutely give it a go. Back in 2019, after mostly watching Marty's Matchbox makeovers, I gave it a shot to see how I got on. You don't need a ton of skill or patience to get started. I for one certainly had little to none of either. Just some basic tools and a handful of supplies. Such as the quality of aerosol paint by Tamiya, and even some automotive paint, you don't need an airbrush, as I hope I prove time and again. For instance, all I've used in this video so far are needle nose pliers, a rotary tool or Dremel with a cutting bit attachment, a hammer, a heat-proof bowl for paint stripping with caustic soda pearls, wire brush attachments for the rotary tool, hemostat scissors with clamps, and some fine surface primer. I know that sounds a lot, but after the initial outlay, you have tools that you can use over and over. Of course, any self-respecting DIYer will have a battery drill for bits like scrubbing rust off axles, and also for drilling out rivet posts with a 5mm drill bit. This is an automotive paint by High Coat that only requires 2 coats over the casting. The results are faultless. And as ever, TS14 Black by Tamiya goes on the base in a single coat. You can never have too many plastic takeaway tubs for water carrying, spraying degreaser into, pouring paint stripper into, and so on. When it comes to decals, on occasion I'll print my own, but more frequently I'll purchase them online. I always leave links to the source of mine in the video description. The finish on these are so often really very good, and all the tools you require for decal application are a pair of tweezers and some cotton buds. I use Mr. Mark's softer solution to set the decals. After hammering the axle end secure on the base, I use my very trusty Molotow chrome pens to apply the trim detailing. During production, Lesney applied trim to the headlights, VW emblem, and both front and rear bumpers. Aside from that, only the wheels changed from metal to grey, silver or black plastic, and the axle ends from crimped to rounded. A tribute to the original Microvan was released in 2019 by Matchbox, sporting an identical livery complete with Matchbox International Express tampos on the sides. This version looks miles better in my opinion. But now it's time to put this casting back together, and it's even easier to do that than it was to take apart. The front tongue slots in and the rear presses secure. So here's how the 34A Volkswagen Microvan appeared before it was revitalised. Most of the paint had been scratched off, leaving very few clues as to how it would have once looked. The A-pillar on one side had bent a bit, as had the base, so it was riding very low. The axles were a bit rusty, but that was to be expected of a casting between 60 and 65 years old. Hopefully this transformation can be inspiration to some of you out there watching to give it a go for yourself. And here it is now, looking minty fresh in a lovely Ford Electric or Monza Blue. I've detailed the front VW emblem with Molotow chrome, along with the headlights and front bumper. Each side has these excellent reproduction decals fitted. The contrast of the yellow to blue looks awesome in my opinion. The rear bumper was also coated in Molotow chrome, as well as a touch to those axle ends. I'd like to thank new Patreon supporter Oscar for providing inspiration for this how-to video. After telling me he was considering doing his own customs, having watched my videos, I thought there may be more of you out there needing a little push to try it for yourselves. While not a step-by-step guide, hopefully I've reassured any of you that it isn't an overwhelming leap into the unknown. So thanks again to him and my other supporters and subscribers. I love this little model, it's straight into my top 5 restorations. Thanks for watching and I'll see you again for the next one. Bye for now.